Hey guys, it's Drac and I'm here to bring you a review of this. This should be a very interesting parcel now. As many of you know, I am an NIC nerfer, which essentially just means that I like slinging stefans in very high-powered wars, but it also means that I'm always on the lookout for other things to do in that kind of scenario. So while I traditionally prefer a Springer of either the pullback or pump action variety, there's been a company, or a guy really, out of Taiwan that's had my eye for some while. He calls himself JSPB or 3D BBQ. Depending upon where he is, whether that be his website or the forums. And so this is his latest prototype. It is actually in production. You can buy these right now. So this is the 3D printed JSPB DIY kit. I'm going to go ahead and open this up just so that you can see what the kit that you can purchase looks like here. So this is everything that you would need. Not only do I assume make darts here, but also to attach the right kind of heads, as well as all of the 3D printed pieces that go into building this monster. And there are quite a few things that go into this. This is a very nice touch that he includes some eye protection, as this is a really cool blaster kit. Now what you make with this kit is, oh, it's got a smiley face. I love that. That's a fun touch. So what you make with this kit is essentially a pre-kitted out homemade air blaster designed for NIC style battle, and when you put it all together it looks a lot like this. Now we've got some safety instructions down here with his logo. This says, always wear goggles, do not aim at eye or face, load foam darts only, designed by Easy Lin. Now this is the first that we've seen of these in the American market, so it's excellent that he has included some instructions so that I'll know exactly what to do here. This looks to be a separate color of front grip. It might even be included in this kit here, so I guess if I wanted to change this one over from orange to yellow, I could, but I actually really like the orange styling. Now, a semi-bullpup design in that the action is back here and the trigger is up front. It's got the JSPB logo. The print quality here is clean. The iron sights are built into the blaster. You can see how you can kind of load that up there. Now the back loading mechanism here appears to be just a fascinating valve system. I'm really into this. This is much better than a flap. I like the O-ring engaging with the skirt back here to create a perfect seal, and then it kind of locks in to this, which is neat. All of the conduit piping works really well with the silver that he's using, works really well with the rest of it. I don't really know what's going on with the optical illusion tape, but the aesthetics are solid. Now it's a homemade kit to make an NIC grade air blaster, and you can hear that there. So there's a tank somewhere in here. I want to say possibly this. This is an RSCB style clip, which just means inline clip. It is designed to fire stefans through it. Now there's a lot of different staggering going on in the handle, but it does, and I have to wrap my pinky underneath here, it does fit quite comfortably, and I think it's a really neat blaster. I like that I can lock my arm into it right here, and it might not have been designed with somebody as tall as me in mind, but it means that I can not only choke up on it out in front of my body, but I can also bring this entire system in for some quick pumps to unload some darts. So I like that it's got a little break here. Let's take a look at his instructions before we fire it. Again, I think that most things are pretty self-explanatory. I like the robot dude who fires it. Claiming ranges of 50 feet with accuracy, which is sweet. Darts go in here. The darts have O-rings around them, which is kind of cool. This says don't break it, I guess. Maybe it's saying 2 to 3 pumps is good, over 3 pumps will break your blaster. So, not the most multilingual person out there, but I do alright. Here's a link to his support for his sight, and then it looks like it'll hold up to 4 darts in the RSCB tube. Down here we have some of the darts that he makes himself. I hope it'll fire slugs. It looks like he's included an American style Stefan as well as some elite darts, giving me the full range of firing options here. Now with any RSCB, you're going to be firing much harder as long as you have a full RSCB, but whatever, we'll load it all the way. So you can see dropping this in, kind of goes all the way up and through. We'll put the suction dart first, the elite dart second, then one of his kind of funky rubber band ring darts in here. I'm not sure how these are going to stack up to slugs, and then we'll put one of these guys in. So we have two of his darts, and then there's a ball valve or a ball rattling somewhere along here. So how is that going to affect things? Not entirely sure. I'm sure it's some kind of check valve. So we'll go ahead and pump twice is what the instructions say. Pump 2 to 3 times. So we'll get 3 pumps for maximum performance. So 1, 2, 3. Fire. Wow! That was actually very satisfying. Fire stock darts remarkably accurately. That was a very straight shot. Of course it was a suction, but also just a lot of pop out of something that didn't take a ton of pressure to pump up. Let's do that again. That was fun. So with an RCB, you always want to tilt down. That might not be necessary with this specific platform, but I'm going to do it anyway out of habit because I am an old school NIC Nerfer. So 1, 2, 3, fire. These are excellent shots. This would be a really cool humans versus zombies blaster, which is something I never thought I'd say about a homemade air blaster, but it is really, really cool, and that performance is tough to beat. Those are well over 50-foot shots. Maybe I have this wrong and they use meters in Taiwan? No, it says 50 feet. It's shooting much harder than that. Let's see how his stock or his versions of Stefans fire. So 1, 2, 3. Not as well. As crazy as that is, they must be a little bit heavier than the elite darts. 1, 2, 3. That was a pretty good shot. Let's try one of these guys. We only have one, so we're increasing our dead space as we go along, which might have something to do with the discrepancy, but 1, 2, 3. Wow. So this is a perfectly fine NIC blaster, even for Southeast standards, and we nerf harder than pretty much anywhere on the planet at this point, now that Canada Nerf has slowed down. So I think that this is a really, really cool blaster. What is that string in there for? Is that some kind of dart stop? This is definitely intentional. I'm sure that's some minutiae feature that ends up being really, really important somehow. So I'm not going to mess with that. The sights are cool. The blaster performs well. I have nothing but nice things to say about this. A huge hats off to Easy Lynn or 3D Barbecue, whoever put this together for me. Thanks so much for sending it over to the States so I could share it with the English-speaking audience. And to everybody who's watching this, they're doing some cool stuff over in Taiwan. This is a high-caliber air blaster designed for some very, very accurate nerfing performance. I think that this is sweet, and since it's not really like overshooting these darts, it's using the right amount of power, I think it would still be appropriate for like a laser tag arena type scenario. In fact, I'd love to have 4 or 5 of these so that we could play with them in one of the laser tag arenas down here. Just a really, really cool system with just a very balanced kind of performance. I like this a lot. Thanks for watching. Not much more to say about it. Let me know what you think about the ergonomics and the design of it. Some people have told me that it doesn't look very polished. I think this is a pretty polished product, given that I've also seen what the prototypes from like 2013 looked like. Cool stuff.